How did you start on this journey to help children with dyslexia?
That's a interesting and fun story in a way, because it changed our lives. Because when we started, I always knew there was something odd or different when I was in school with the reading and issues and things like that, but I never really brought it up because in those days I didn't even think it was. I didn't even know what dyslexia was or that it existed. And when my son started struggling with dyslexia, well, when he started struggling with reading in first grade, that was a big year, and with his writing and all kinds of things, and we started looking into that. It was overwhelming to try to figure out what was going on, and the teachers wanted to hold him back, and we're like, okay, we're not going to hold him back. Everybody's saying he's very smart. We know he's smart. So what is going on? And then eventually we ended up in a tutoring school for dyslexics, not because we thought he was dyslexic, just because we wanted one-on-one tutoring so that he could get going. And then we realized, wow, we are here because we're supposed to be here. He's totally dyslexic. And we started looking into him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I have. And it was such a long journey, and it was such a overwhelming journey. And you can be, I'm a nurse, I'm an entrepreneur, I run a big company, my husband's a pediatrician. But when you're stuck in this whole big bubble, you don't even know where to turn or what to do, and there's so much information and so many people tell you all kinds of things. And I'm dyslexic, and all these books are like 400 pages, and I'm like, I'm not gonna read that. I need help now. What am I gonna do? So after we've done all this work, and it took 4 years for our son to really be excelling at school and going from almost repeating first grade to private school and he's in honor classes and all these things. And it's not everybody that ends up like him, but for him that was his journey. And we're like, well, we've done all the work. There's so many parents who are stressed out, freaked out. They don't know where to turn. They feel like us. They don't want to be bombarded with tons of information. And I'm like, I don't care to know all these terminologies and this science that is so complicated. I just need right now I need some immediate help. And what is it that I need to do? And what are the little steps that I can get started? And after that I can, okay, I'm in the system, or I'm getting more help, and now I can broaden my horizon to figure out exactly what we need to do. But when you're starting, you don't want to start with having to read an encyclopedia. You want to start with little things that you can get going so that your child can get started. So that's how we we live it. My husband sees these kids at the office all the time, and he's like, well, I've gone through this. It's it reminds me of when our son was born and he was colicky. For 4 months, it was 24 hours a day of screaming and stressed out, and he was allergic to milk. And I'm like, you're a pediatrician. And then it's I know, but what you learn and what's real life is not the same thing. And it made him such a great pediatrician and such a humble person, because now parents come in and they're like, he's like, this is what the text, this is all the information I learned, but this is what I've done as a dad. And it makes you connect with the people and make them understand that a textbook is not life, it's not reality. And sometimes you need to have an expert who is living it and understanding it, and that's where we come from, where we come in.